below. Let me know how you're doing. What's the weather where you are? In New Hampshire, it is foggy, and I have to say that it's it's not bad. It's a little chilly. It's supposed to be in the 60s later today, which would be really nice. As you can see, it's very foggy and spring is coming. Yesterday, I made a couple of videos about the icy rain. It was very interesting. It was like raining and then it was icing on the trees and you could see little icicles hanging from the electrical wires. It was quite interesting for after we've had some really nice warmer days. We had some cold days. And that's how it is in March in New Hampshire. We're headed into April. And so this is the time of year for teachers that we just kind of hunker down, get the work done, and we do look forward to spring. Lots of activities at our school. I have one student who is of my own children who is graduating high school this year, and he is looking at starting his own landscaping business. And he also does odd jobs for people as well. He got his own truck, he got his own trailer, and he can do lots of different things. He has his own lawnmower. He is growing up, learning how to go to people's houses, make bids, and to talk about what needs to be done and talk about how much it's going to cost and all that. So it's kind of cool. He meets his own customers and does it all on his own. So that's a really good thing for a young person to do, not to rely on other people to provide a job, but create a job for yourself. So that's kind of cool. And so that's what's happening. He has a senior trip coming up, and then they have some activities for the end of the year, and they are headed toward graduation the end of May. So not too long into the future. We also have testing at our school where, you know, the standardized tests, they do the testing, and we have that coming up next week. And so it's kind of the fourth quarter winding down and wrapping things up for the year, the school year. And then I can say a lot of my students, they do a lot of traveling during the summer. They go to camp, which I think all of those things are good for kids. I think that academics are important, but I also like when I see that they have other things they like to do. You know, kids have lots of choices these days. And yes, I'm a mom of 13. I am a grandma to almost 9. And you are correct. I am the grandma status. So I'm a teacher and I'm on my way to school. So I like to do these morning car chats. So thank you for coming to my channel and thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for your subscribers. You know, I can use all the subscribers I can get. And I'm trying to work on just these morning car chats, talking a little bit about my teacher life, as well as, hey, what's going on in the news? What's going on in the world as things come up? So right now, there's a lot of talk about the Department of Education being downsized, and people are kind of upset about that because it sounds bad. It sounds like you're saying we don't want kids to learn. But the truth is, we're just cutting out the extra money that we're not really using for kids' education. Put that money back into the kids, you know, even in our town, a lot of the money that we collect from taxpayers goes toward things other than true education of children. And that is evidenced by Number one, what do we teach at the schools? Number two, what are their scores? How well are these students doing in reading, writing, and arithmetic? Those are the most important things. So we talk a little bit about current events. Department of Education, maybe we can have a better plan. The plan that we came up with, we have to be honest with ourselves, it is not working. The students of today are not smarter than the students of a generation ago. Even though we have more money, we have maybe more knowledge, access to more knowledge, students are not thriving. They're not thriving in the right things. And so we need to make some changes. We need to be honest with ourselves and make the changes we need to make. We've got talk about libraries, losing some funding for that. And libraries are supposed to be your local library, some books for your community, and help your community by providing a service at the library. And unfortunately, libraries have gotten into, they've become a propaganda funnel. And I'm glad that we are stopping that program and getting back to basics. Maybe that's what we should call it. We should call it getting back to basics, because the basics are what we all need in every area. So the basics of reading, let's get back to getting kids to sit down and practice reading. Novel idea. How about we get down to kids counting things and working on their memory work for multiplication tables and work on division. Every kid I know hates division. It's really not that bad. I know that when I was a kid, it wasn't my favorite, but we did it enough that it wasn't a problem. Like, I learned how to divide because we kept at it, we kept working at it, we practiced and practiced. And that's what it takes. It doesn't take just understanding, it takes practice, like anything else. And I think kids today aren't practicing enough. They need to practice more and just, sometimes it's boring to practice. I tell my students about when I learned how to play the piano, I had to practice 30 minutes every day. That does not sound like a lot of time, but to a kid, that seems like an eternity. 30 minutes a day, that's all it takes to learn how to play the piano. And it's hard to put in 30 minutes a day. And for math, it takes, your class time, it takes an instruction, and it takes some practice. Every day practice, not just once in a while. And so I think that we talk about understanding why we do this and that with the kids, and they just need to practice. So I think reworking the Department of Education is not a bad idea. Some other things that are happening, just finding where money is being wasted in the government and getting rid of that department or excess jobs or whatever it might be. And people are freaking out. But honestly, if it's wasted money and it's jobs that don't matter, we're not losing anything. We're actually gaining something. So if you had at home and you made a certain amount of, say you make, $1 million, do you want to waste anything? Like, usually rich people still watch every penny and they don't want to waste money. So just because we have collected money from all the taxpayers and it looks like we have so much doesn't mean we should waste it. So everybody should kind of just wait and see how this is going to go. before you get too upset about it. It might just save us some money. So let's wait and see, I guess, right? I mean, nobody really fussed too much when we had the COVID years and people kept getting money. They kept getting money. They never questioned, like, where does this money come from? How did I get this extra money? How do I get to stay home and collect a paycheck? Well, yeah, that wasn't real life. That was kind of a dirty trick. So now we have to do what's right. If you're at home, you make money, you're going to want to see where you're wasting money. Say you want to, I want to put in a in-ground swimming pool. How could I make that happen? You're going to have to look at your budget, and you're going to have to allocate funds to the something that you really want, instead of just wasting money on, maybe you go out to eat for steak every night. It only makes sense. And some people are just afraid. I know why they're afraid. They're afraid because they don't trust the leadership. And I can see that mindset. I can understand why you would feel that way. And I think that that's valid, to not really trust the leadership if they're not being honest with you. And so we'll wait and see what happens. But for right now, we just keep taking it one day at a time. And my name is Cindy. Thank you for coming to this video. I really appreciate it. This is my morning car chat from New Hampshire. And today is a very foggy day. It is raining. And a few people had some nice, like Friday was really nice. So people got out with their yard equipment, and they started cleaning up their yards and doing stuff. And then Saturday and Sunday were very cold and rainy and icy even. So today is very foggy. We're supposed to have into the 60s later today. So I also wanted to share prayer requests for those of you who pray. I have a friend who, his son had a terrible motorcycle accident. And this young guy, I think he's 19. They're good friends. His parents are good friends of ours. And it's a hard story, We've been praying for him all weekend that God would undertake. He's supposed to have surgery today. And it's hard. It's hard because we don't know what the future is going to be for him. Like, is he going to walk? Is he going to be in a wheelchair? Maybe he'll have a full recovery and it will be a huge miracle. I mean, God's already showed miracles as it is. And it's hard for me because I think back, why couldn't my son had a ski accident, and I think, why couldn't someone have been there to help him? Why did this happen when he had no help? By the time he was found, he was gone. But, we sit there and we ask why to God. And we're just dust. God loves us. He sent his son to die for our sins. He put us here. He has a purpose for our life. But on the other hand, we're just here breathing by the grace of God. I could say, why did my son have a ski accident and there was no recovery? By the time he was found, his soul was gone. And say why? And then I could say, gift. He was a gift for 21 years. We're not promised anything. not promised tomorrow. We're not promised health, we're not promised anything. We are promised that God loves us, and he says in the Bible that it's appointed unto man once to die. And to take heed, every day, that we would understand that every day is a gift from God. We know this. We are living very, we should be humble. We should be always knowing that every breath we take is by the grace of God. Don't presume upon anything. And pray for one another when we do go through those trials and tribulations. We don't know what's going to face us. I have a friend who he's in like 50 maybe. And when he was 18, he was in a car accident, and it was a miracle that he survived. But he survived with a lot of difficulties, but he still survived. So, hey, Kelly, thank you for coming to I didn't know who was watching. I'm just rambling on. So pray for my friend, the friend whose son was in the motorcycle accident that I was talking about. This is the friend that substitute teaches for me at the school. And so pray for their family, and pray that this young man overcomes all odds and becomes a walking miracle to walk away from this whole situation. But it's going to be a long road. I would say probably a year. Like when my son had the ACL surgery, they said it'd probably be 6 months to a year before you're feeling normal, So something like this, it's going to be a long road. But I'm thankful for this family because they do love the Lord, and they know that God will take care of them, and they will face it with a good Christian spirit. But I know in my life, I've always been pushed to my limit. Like, I think, oh, I'm strong. I'm a good Christian. I know God loves me. I know that God is with me, and whatever happens in this world is his will. And then you're pushed to a limit that you just can't even stand, And I haven't even been to the hardest things that some people are facing in this world. So I think that's how it is with the Christian life, it's kind of like lifting weights. When you go to the gym, you lift what you can, and you keep practicing, and you try to continue to up the ante, right? You continue to add weight, see how much you can lift. I can lift this much today, and then tomorrow I'm going to lift a little more and a little more. And your faith is challenged, and it is strengthened by the hard things that we go through. And when we are strengthened, then that encourages others, because there are people that are going to be going through things, and they're going to wonder, how am I going to get through this? And they can see, okay, this person made it through, I can make it through too. So, yeah, so Kelly's son had ACL surgery. She just finished the yoga workout. You lucky duck. I have this week, we have 3 weeks of April school, and then we have 1 week of vacation at the end of April. So, and then we have 1 more month of school. So we're on the home stretch for school this fourth quarter. And 2 weeks ago, I had 1 day off for a teacher professional development day. And then this week I'll be at school every day. No State House this week. But next week, we will be at the State House and we're going to be looking at the budget. So this is the first time that I've been at the State House working on the budget. They make a budget for the 2 years. So this will be another experience. And we're doing a lot of things in New Hampshire to save the children. And we have a bill put in for the library that if the parents call up and they want to know the names of the books on the children's library cards, then it's permissible in New Hampshire. Because otherwise, there's a rule that everybody has privacy rights on even their library card, even minors whose parents call up and ask about it. So that's an interesting one. So that's a bill well, the representatives passed it, but it's got to go to the Senate and to the governor. We have a bill about not to do any transgender surgical procedures or medical, like drugs, for kids under 18. And that one seems to be very controversial. But the House passed it, or all of that. There's 2 bills in there. The House passed all of it conservatively to allow kids to be kids, and hopefully that will pass the Senate and the governor. Then we also have a bill about pictures and books in public schools, that books with, pretty bad stuff in them would not be in the public schools. So those are the things that I remember really well about all of them. We did 100 bills last Wednesday and Thursday, and it was exhausting. But we did it, and it was my privilege to be there, to be a part of it. We'll see how it pans out with the other branches of government in New Hampshire. So, wow, today is very, very foggy, and almost last day of March today. Today is my son Peter's birthday. Peter is 30 today, the big 3-0. So he's been living, let's see, he lived around where we live for a few years. Then he moved to Texas for a while. Then he ended up moving to Utah, stayed there for a few years. And then he moved out to Georgia. So he lives in Georgia. We'll be going to see him this summer, and all the clan that lives down there. They kind of want us all to move to Georgia, but I'm not ready for that. So we're in New Hampshire. This is my home state. It is very, very foggy, and I can see the lights. When I look in my mirror, I see the lights behind me. I see the lights in front of me, and it's pretty foggy today. It's supposed to be in the 60s, and I'm hoping it is. I'm dressed in layers, so I will be prepared for a change in weather that I'm looking forward to. And what's for lunch? What do you guys do for lunch as teachers? Do you carry a lunch? Do you buy a lunch? I have a sub sandwich from Subway. I've been getting my mother a sub sandwich on Sundays. She really loves a veggie sub. So I buy her a veggie sub, and I like the BMT, which is bologna. I don't know what it stands for, actually. It's got ham, cheese, and all the fixings. Kelly brings a lunch. Only get a quick 30 minutes. Yeah. I'm pretty fortunate. I get a pretty good lunch, although on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I teach a tutoring class during my lunch period. So I'll probably eat this after lunch today. And I bring a lunch, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I supervise lunch. So I sit there with the students and, another teacher, and we eat our lunch. So I carry my lunch as well. And usually I have a little tiny crock pot, and I can put soup or something in it and warm up anything, and I put that in there and I can eat that. I have a certain one soup that I kind of like. It's a Progresso tortellini. I don't know if it's cheese tortellini, but I do like that one. It's like a tomatoey type of a soup. Sometimes I make my own soup, but usually I don't buy a lunch. I just bring something from home. Sometimes it's a yogurt, but yeah. And I have two classes and I get a break. Then I have two more classes, and then I have my tutoring class, and then I have study hall duty in the afternoon. So this is interesting. We have a blinking light up here, which is kind of a lot of traffic usually, so it'll be interesting getting through this with a blinking light. Um, so yeah, I bring my own lunch, and I try not to eat too much so that I don't. Oh, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. That's a BLT. Yeah. This is from Subway. They have a BMT, and it doesn't have bacon in it. It has like ham, has meat, bread, meat, and tomato. I don't know. Because you put your own fixings on it. And for subs, I love all the fixings. I love lettuce, tomato, cucumber, onions, peppers. I love the banana peppers. Those are my favorite. And we do vinegar and oil. My mother loves vinegar and oil. My mother does just veggies. She does no meat, no cheese. Oh, yeah, I put American cheese on it. So it was funny though. The last time I went to Subway and had a BMT, I said, I don't even know what BMT stands for. And they're like, yeah, I don't know either. They were the ones working there. So yeah, so here I go. Going no turn on red arrow, but the arrow is blinking for some reason. It must be broken or something. So we got through. We got through the intersection. Thank you so much for coming to this video, and I am looking forward to a busy week. I'm already tired. It's only Monday. So, yeah, I'm not a morning person at all. Are you a morning person, Kelly? I am not a morning person. When I worked for VIP Kid, I got up really early and I taught, and it's usually high energy. But when I was done, I crashed. So I do miss that job. That was a fun job. So this job, I think driving kind of makes me tired too. Like if I didn't have to drive so far, I probably wouldn't get that like tired feeling. So I'm not a big fan of driving, but that's why I started the morning car chat. Makes my drive a little bit easier, passes the time. Oh, so Kelly says VIP Kid made her a morning person. Yeah, that's great. It didn't make me a morning person. As soon as I was done with it, I went right back to my old comfort zone. But I do have my coffee. I bring my coffee in a coffee cup. This is I have three of these actually. Um, and it doesn't spill. It's a non-spill cap. Keeps the coffee nice and hot for a good little while. It's still very hot. It's very good. I just make it at home. I just drink black coffee. I don't buy coffee. I don't think I could tolerate all of the sugar and cream, so I'm glad I learned to drink it without anything in it because I think it's better for your stomach, better for mine anyway. So we're headed to school. We're almost there. Yeah, like I said, I'm a teacher. It's teacher life. I am also a New Hampshire state representative, which is really cool in New Hampshire because there are 400. So we truly represent the people. We are elected by the people in our towns who actually do know us. And so I am a little bit into what you might call politics, but to me, it's about kind of protecting the children, trying to help stand for the people that live here and do what's right for the people. So hopefully I can make a difference there. So thank you so much for coming to this video. I really appreciate it. I hope that the weather is great where you are. And I did see in the weather that there was some bad weather in Detroit. Did you see that correctly? It looked like snow and maybe tornadoes and stuff. I have one daughter who lives in Indiana, and she said there were lots of tornado warnings, which we did live in the West for a little while, and it was very scary sometimes with those storms. So Kelly says major storms today. We also saw that in Thailand, there's some terrible earthquakes, and prayers for all of those people. Because, you know, in the city, there's an earthquake, and I saw a video of lots of people that were displaced from their homes. That's tragic. So lots of prayers for people around the world today. As usual, but some extra special things today. Still lots of people suffering, and it's hard to make a day where, you know, oh, here I go, I'm going to school. We get to have a normal life, and there's other people that are homeless. So prayers for all those around the world, and prayers for safety, and pray for a great day for you today. I hope you enjoy your day, and I will see you next time.